Hi yogis, welcome back to Stretchy Cat Yoga. Today we're going to do a routine for after you've done Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So we're going to focus a lot on stretching our neck, our back, and our legs. So go ahead and join me down on the mat. We're going to start in easy pose. So whatever is actually comfortable for you. If you need your legs straight out in front of you, that's also fine. Or if you want to crisscross them to an easy pose just as I did, that also works. And you can go ahead and rock side to side, get comfortable. And then go ahead, close your eyes as we get started. Take an inhale, roll your shoulders up towards your ears, push them down on your exhale. Do that 2 more times. Inhale up to your ears, and then exhale, push them down and away. 1 more time, inhale and exhale. Good. Now, what I want you to do is drop your chin to your chest, and then you're just going to slowly inhale and look over to the right side, lifting your head. And on your exhale, go ahead, drop your chin back down to center. And then inhale over to the left, repeating that pattern as you drop down to center. And do it a few more times. Now you have the option to stay coming halfway up to each side and then returning to center, or if you would like to do a full neck circle, you can go ahead and inhale all the way around looking up. Just be careful not to crunch your neck too much, and follow the pattern of your own breathing as you do this. Taking a few circles around. And if you're rotating your neck, go ahead, come to stillness at the center, turn around, look the other way to the left, and rotating around. Moving at your own breath speed, taking just a few more circles. And come to center on your last round. Go ahead and lift your chin to level. If your eyes are still closed, you can blink them awake. We're going to come onto all fours. So shifting into tabletop position, take a minute to adjust and make sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders and your knees are stacked directly under your hips. Now, before we get started in our cat-cows, we're going to take a few hip circles. So I'm going to start going to the right, and I'm just again moving at my own breath speed and rotating around, feeling a nice hip stretch as I warm up my hips and all my joints really, because they're all making circles. And if you want a little bit of a shoulder stretch, you can drop your left shoulder down as you rotate your hip over your right foot and feel a little bit of a shoulder stretch that way. And then once you get to the front, come to stillness and rotate around the other direction, the same motion, to the left this time. And come back to center. From here, we're going to move into our cat-cows, warming up the spine just a bit. So on your inhale, arch your back, push your heart forward, looking up. And then exhale, curl your spine, arch your back, tuck your tailbone. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Repeat that 3 more times, moving at your own breath speed. It's fine if you're a little faster or a little slower than me. Good. Go ahead, come to stillness when you've completed those 3 cycles. And then we're going to push back to our first downward facing dog of the day. So curl your toes under, push back. You can adjust your palms if you need to. Since this is our first downward facing dog, you can take a moment to pedal out your dog, alternating one heel down and then switching to the other, pushing back through your hands, pushing your chest towards your knees and feeling a shoulder stretch as well.
while keeping your tailbone up towards the sky. Now come on to your tiptoes and then push both heels down to the mat, feeling a nice stretch. This is your ideal down dog, and since it's our very first one, we still might be a little bit tight, but we might get a little bit more flexibility as we warm up the body and make our way through this flow. So we're going to start with three-legged dog. So inhale, lifting your right foot up towards the sky. Exhale, step it through, coming up into crescent lunge. If you would like more of a stretch, push your back foot back further, or if you want less, scoot it closer to your front foot. You want to keep your knee at a 90-degree angle, and then bring those arms overhead and look straight ahead. Inhale and exhale. Good. Bring those hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Lean forward, bending at the waist, coming into humble warrior for a nice shoulder stretch here. Inhale, back up to crescent. Exhale. Now inhale, open up to warrior two. Pivot your back foot, keeping that 90-degree bend in your front knee, looking out over your front fingertips. Check in with your posture as you tee out your arms. Inhale, nice and deep. Exhale. Good. Now straightening that front knee. You want to shift your hips back 2 inches. Tick-tock your arms, coming into triangle pose. So rotate your arms down, keeping your heart open, and you're lifting up through your obliques here to the sky. We're not dumping into it, but you should feel a really nice hip stretch and leg stretch for your inner thighs here. And breathe. And shift it back up. Inhale, switching to warrior two. Now we're going to cartwheel our hands down to the mat. Step back to plank. From here, you're going to shift it forward 2 inches, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Put your feet on the mat. Your thighs are off the mat, and you're looking up. Exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Great job. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, so I'm going to rotate around so I can face you. So from downward facing dog, inhale your left foot high to the sky. Exhale, step it through, coming in to crescent lunge. Check your posture and check your back leg. If you need to make any adjustments, go ahead and do that. Inhale, stay for the exhale. Now release your hands, interlacing your fingers. We're going to come back to that humble warrior, shifting forward. And breathe. Inhale, back up to crescent. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, open up to warrior two, pivoting that back foot, checking in with your posture, looking out over those front fingertips. Breathe. Now straighten that front leg, shift those hips back, and tick-tock your arms looking up towards the sky, lifting yourself up towards the ceiling. Breathe. And inhale, coming back up, returning to warrior two. Cartwheel those hands down to the mat. Stepping back into plank position. Shift it forward 2 inches, lowering halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Great job. We're going to go through that flow one more time, moving at breath speed, so a little bit faster this time. So from downward facing dog, go ahead and start with a deep inhale. Stay for the exhale. Good. On your next inhale, lift that right foot up high to the sky for a three-legged dog. Exhale, step it through, coming up to crescent. Release those hands down, interlace them. Leaning into humble warrior. And back up to crescent. Inhale, open up to warrior two, straightening that front leg, shift it forward into triangle. Now return back up to warrior two, cartwheel those hands to the mat, and go through your vinyasa. Great job. Same thing on the other side. Take a breath while I rotate over. So left foot up high to the sky. Exhale, step it through, coming into crescent lunge. Release those hands, shifting forward to humble warrior. Inhale, back up to crescent. Open up to warrior two. Straightening that front leg, shift it forward, looking up to the sky. Rotate back to warrior two. Now cartwheel those hands down to the mat. Stepping back to plank, shift it forward, lowering halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Great job. Go ahead and drop to your knees, coming back to tabletop. We're going to do a few stretches now. So inhale, lifting your right arm high towards the sky. We're going to thread the needle. So exhale, thread the needle through, bringing your ear to the mat. And if you want more, you can rotate around, taking the bind, grabbing for your left or for your right thigh with your left hand, taking the bind and pushing that opposite shoulder back. And breathe. And release down, pushing back up. Release that hand to the sky before planting it back down. Same thing on the left side. Inhale, left arm up to the sky. Exhale, threading the needle, dropping that hand. If you took the bind on the other side, feel free to do so on this side as well. And breathe. And release that hand down. Inhale that arm up to the sky before releasing it back down again. From here, we're going to just rotate around onto our sit bones. So however is comfortable for you to get there. We're going to first have our legs out straight in front of us. Inhale, find length, bringing your arms overhead. Exhale, bending at the waist. Reach for your toes, your shins, or whatever else that you can reach for this one, and breathe. You can also use a yoga strap to wrap around the arches of your feet, or a towel works if you don't have a yoga strap. Breathe into this forward fold. And inhale, back up. So for this one, we're going to keep our left foot down straight in front of us. Bending at the knee, bring your right foot in. You have the option to keep it here if you like, or you can cross it over if you would like more of a challenge. Inhale your left arm up to the sky. Hook that elbow over your opposite knee and rotate around facing the back of your mat. This hand is just here for balance. You're not dumping any weight into it. And breathe. And release. Switching out your legs. If you kept it on the inside of your thigh, you could do that. Otherwise, feel free to cross it over. Inhale, right arm towards the sky. Exhale, twist, rotating it around. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, twist a bit deeper. And release. Go ahead, extend both feet out in front of you and reach your arms out in front of you, and then one vertebrae at a time, using your core, slowly lower down to the mat. From here, you can bend your knees, bring your feet to just under your sit bones. We're going to come to the most basic inversion pose, which is bridge. So inhale, push your hips up towards the sky. Tuck your tail or your shoulder blades underneath your body and interlace your fingers. Here, we're just going to breathe for a few moments. And release your hands, and then one vertebrae at a time. Slowly lower all the way back down. Keeping your knees bent, you're first going to lift your right leg and cross that ankle over your left knee, coming into a figure 4. If this is enough of a stretch, you're welcome to stay here. You can also push down on your knee if you want more, or if you want even more than that, you can bring your left leg towards your body and then interlace your fingers behind your hamstrings to feel a deeper hip stretch here. This is a good substitute for pigeon pose. If pigeon is too much for you, or if it hurts your hips or your knees, this is a great alternative. And then exhale, release it down, switching over to the opposite side. If you stayed here, you could stay here on this side, or inhale, bring that leg towards your body and breathe. And release everything down, release both feet to the mat. From here, you could tee out your arms to this side. You can use 1 or 2 legs for this option. We're gonna come into reclining supine twist. So drop either your left knee or both of your knees over towards your right side, and then look over your left shoulder, keeping that shoulder down on the mat. And breathe. And inhale back to center, rotating over to the opposite side, looking out over your right shoulder this time, and making sure that you keep that right shoulder down on the mat. Good, inhale back to center. And you can move your knees out to the edge of the mat before letting your knees fall together. Move your feet out to the edge of the mat rather. If you have any low back problems, you're welcome to stay in this pose. If you do not, go ahead and extend your feet out towards the edge of your mat, letting your toes fall to the sides. Bring your hands in closer to your body with your palms facing up to the sky. You want to make sure that your shoulder blades are tucked under your body. Close your eyes for a moment. If you need to get out any last wiggles or twitches with your ankles or wrists, go ahead and do that. We are coming into our final savasana of the practice. Inhale, one big, nice, full breath. And exhale, release. Now go ahead and just breathe naturally, taking a few seconds to relax in your final savasana. Option to stay here longer. Otherwise, you can raise one of your arms overhead, bending your knees and shifting to the side, coming into the fetal position. Gently push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. If you want, you can take cobbler's pose for the final seconds to get one last hip stretch in, and bringing your hands to heart center, bending forward, sealing in today's practice. Namaste. This has been Stretchy Cat Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me. You can find me on Instagram at Stretchy Cat Yoga, and you can also find more classes, merch, and more on my website, stretchycatyoga.com. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.